Once a shining star, Nick fell from grace. Betrayal gnawed at him, a bitter echo of his lost past. In the labyrinthine city, a magnet for fortune seekers, he thrived, honed his skills as a swordsman, reveled in the love of his girlfriend, and basked in the respect of his party. But fate, a fickle mistress, had other plans. One fateful day, the rug was ripped from beneath his feet. Argus, the party leader and his surrogate father, cast him out. The accusation? Lacking the true adventurer's spirit. Apparently, kicking out a thieving party member wasn't the adventurous thing to do. Devastated but not defeated, Nick sought solace in his girlfriend Claudine. Little did he know, love had a price tag, and he'd just been declared bankrupt. Claudine, the gold digger in disguise, saw only a useless loser without a job or a party. With a cruel twist of the knife, she discarded him like yesterday's garbage. Now, stripped of his past, Nick stands alone, fueled by a burning desire for justice and a chance to prove his worth. Rain hammered down, a relentless assault on the city. Nick, soaked to the bone and utterly miserable, sat slumped on a cold fountain, oblivious to the growing puddle around him. Twice in one day his heart had been shattered. Talk about a cosmic kick in the you-know-what. Suddenly, a splash of blue cut through the gray. A girl, hair the color of a summer sky, stood in front of him, a wide smile plastered across her face. Nick, in a daze, tried to shoo her away, another unwelcome intrusion on his misery, but the girl just laughed, shoving a brightly colored ticket into his hand. "Don't miss my show, Mr. Stray Cockroach," she chirped, her voice full of infectious enthusiasm. "I'm Agate, the future idol sensation. Come see me perform if you've got nothing better to do." Before he could stammer a reply, she was gone, leaving him with a ticket and a fancy umbrella. He found himself at the venue, drawn by a strange pull, and then Agate appeared on stage. The music pulsed, the lights strobed, and Nick was a goner. He was hooked, completely and utterly. From that moment, Nick became Agate's biggest fan, an idol otaku of the highest order. His wallet wept as he emptied it on merchandise. Each glittery keychain and fluffy cushion, a desperate attempt to fill the void in his heart. But the merch money wouldn't last forever. The next day, Nick found himself at the Adventurers Guild, desperate for a quick way to earn some cash. He needed more agate stuff, damn it. But every party seemed to be full, their ranks already filled with eager recruits. Dejected, Nick spotted a lone blonde guy in the corner. Maybe, just maybe, self-doubt gnawed at him, a bitter reminder of the last party that had kicked him out faster than a goblin on laundry day. He fumbled his approach, his voice cracking as he tried to talk. Of course, that's when someone else swooped in, a charming rogue who snatched the blonde right from under Nick's nose. The flickering tavern lights did little to hide the disgust churning in Nick's stomach. Another insipid round of chants about the power of friendship echoed around him, more nauseating than the lukewarm stew sitting before him. Suddenly, the tavern door creaked open, admitting a group of unlikely companions. With a sigh, Nick resigned himself to sharing his table, the only one free in the entire place. One by one, they shuffled in, a motley crew that clearly didn't belong together. The first was a young woman, adorned in finery that screamed nobility. A hefty magic stone hung from her hip, yet a sense of misplaced desperation clung to her like a shroud. Nick couldn't help but wonder what brought a pampered noblewoman to this dingy tavern. Next came a man in priestly garb, reeking of cheap perfume and a night spent in dubious company. The missing holy symbol around his neck spoke volumes, a defrocked cleric, cast out by the very order he once served. Finally, a scarred dragonkin woman rounded out the trio. Her hardened exterior hinted at countless battles fought, but beneath the surface, Nick glimpsed a flicker of fear, a wounded animal seeking refuge. The ale arrived, a bittersweet respite in Nick's miserable day. He raised his mug, ready to toast to his losses, to the three strangers sharing his misfortune. As the mug touched his lips, a surge of shared anger erupted. Slamming the mug down, Nick roared, "Humans can't be trusted!" The others, as if on cue, echoed his sentiment, their voices a chorus of disillusionment. A startled silence followed, then a slow realization dawned. They weren't so different after all. In that shared moment of despair, a connection sparked. Bellies full of ale and hearts brimming with unspoken woes, they found themselves drawn together, ready to share the stories etched in their scars. So the crown jewel of Aloria Academy, Tiana, struts in first. Top student, praised for her magic and kindness by all. One sunny lunch break, she finds her fiancé at a table with another woman. Naive, Tiana gushes about her day, the teachers raving about her new spell. But her fiancé? Turns out he's a misogynistic jerk with a fragile ego, threatened by her brilliance. He explodes, calling her arrogant. The other woman chimes in, accusing Tiana of looking down on non-noble students and fooling around teachers for grades. The fiancé, without a chance to hear Tiana's side, breaks things off. Heartbroken, she leaves Aloria, her dad reluctantly letting her live alone. Labyrinth City beckons, a fresh start. But job applications go unanswered. Dejected, she stumbles upon a peculiar ad for a gambling den. Tiana clutched the winning lottery ticket, a giddy smile plastered on her face. It was her first gamble, a lucky fluke that propelled her into the world of high-stakes thrills. But like a shooting star, her luck burned fast. Soon she was a full-fledged gambler, hemorrhaging money until she was penniless and facing eviction. Desperate, Tiana drowned her sorrows in a tavern, the ever-present scowl on her face, a resting bitch face of epic proportions, scaring away any potential adventuring companions. Enter Zen, a priest with a past shrouded in whispers. Back in his hometown, he was a revered healer, his clinic overflowing with grateful patients. One such patient was a young girl who tirelessly collected herbs for his concoctions. Zen, ever the gentleman, compensated her handsomely. But their professional relationship took a dark turn one night. The girl, brimming with newfound confidence, arrived at the clinic, but her basket was empty. Instead, she grabbed Zen's hand, her eyes alight with a yearning far beyond her years. Zen, a man of unwavering morals, explained his vow of celibacy, but his words, meant to be kind, shattered the girl's heart. Tears streamed down her face as she ran away, her curses echoing through the night. The next day, Zen's world came crashing down. A group of priests stormed into his clinic, dragging him away. As Zen was ushered out, his gaze fell upon the girl, her once bright eyes now filled with a deep sadness. Zam was done. He tried to reach out to the girl, figure out what went wrong, but nope. Turns out she accused him of harassment just because he rejected her confession. She's bawling, throwing coins at him like they're grenades, claiming he gave them as hush money. No chance to explain, Bam. Zam's chilling in a crappy jail for 3 months, gets out, gets paraded like a criminal, then banished forever. Rough. He stumbles into this rundown town feeling like yesterday's trash. But hey, a kind olive-skinned lady recognizes him. Big smile, but ouch, her back's killing her. Zen, ever the nice guy, offers to heal her. Apparently, it's an all-night deal because next morning, Missy's feeling fantastic. She tells Zen she knows he's good people, should head to Labyrinth City, become an adventurer, live free, guilt-free, and guess what? She throws a bag at him. Cleric clothes, staff, magic book, the whole adventurer starter pack. Zam tries to refuse, but nope, this lady's insistent. Apparently, it all belonged to an adventurer friend of hers back in the day. Wild, right? So yeah, Zen develops a thing for mature ladies, enjoys some adventurer downtime with them, unwind. But the dragon girl? That's a story for another time. When Nick asks her to share, she freaks. Apparently someone close to her stole something precious. Everyone gets awkward, thinking virginity, but hey, that's just speculation, right? Well, it turns out Dragon Girl Curran's a lightweight. Looks like all that celebrating got the best of her. After another round, or 5, Mick wakes up with a splitting headache in a completely unfamiliar room. His blurry vision clears enough to recognize his fellow revelers from last night. Tiana, the one claiming ownership of this luxurious crash pad, is already barking orders to get out. Just as they're about to shuffle out, Nick throws out a curveball. He questions if splitting up is the smartest move. We're all a bunch of misfits, he argues. Castaways with nowhere to call home. Why not stick together and make a party out of it? The idea strikes a chord with everyone. Outcasts banding together. Sounds like a recipe for epic adventures, and probably a few more hangovers. Wasting no time, they head straight to the Adventurers Guild to register their newfound crew. The receptionist, a seasoned pro with weary eyes, does a double take. Nick, she recognizes, is the powerhouse from that legendary party everyone's been whispering about. And Curran? Well, she's the only one ever to escape the nightmarish Sea-Lev dungeon solo. Intrigued, she asks for their team name. Nick, ever the strategist, declares them the Survivors. That night, as they huddle together, Nick lays down some ground rules, forged from the fires of past betrayals. Rule number 1, respect each other's space. 2, keep the loot fair and square, no greedy goblins here. And finally, the most important rule of all, they survive, together, no matter what. First stop, the G-level dungeons. Easy pickings for seasoned adventurers, but these newbies still gotta prove themselves. Especially Z and Tiana, who've never even seen the inside of a proper dungeon. But hey, that's what this ragtag bunch is all about. Learning, growing, and surviving together.